From Bretzi's uncertain future to Taylor Kinney's sudden departure from the show, here are Chicago Fire characters who probably won't be back in Season 12. Casey's complicated things for him and Brett. Ever since the finale of Season 11 dropped, Bretzi fans have been holding their breath. Casey came back to the Windy City and owned the finale. He was ready to kick some serious butt, like teaming up with the 51 squad to take down a sneaky sniper. It took him one episode to remind everyone who's the man. But wait, there's more. He didn't just drop bombs at the station, he dropped a major one on his ex, too. If you're a true Bretzi shipper, you already know what I'm talking about. He bent down on one knee for Sylvie, and guess what they did? Cut the episode off before we could even hear her answer. Man, do these people know how to torture fans. We've been left hanging ever since, but what's worse is that her answer matters a lot. The future of this ship carries the future of the entire show. Don't believe me? Let me tell you why. There are two ways this can go, and it all depends on the answer. Whether it's a yes or a no. If Brett happily says yes, what lies ahead for Casey? Or both of them? The future looks pretty exciting. With an engagement in the picture, there's bound to be wedding planning, lovey-dovey moments, and all the ups and downs that come with a serious commitment. Who knows what challenges they'll face or what kind of heroic acts Casey will pull off next? All we know is that we'll be seeing a lot of them because there's no way the showrunners will cheat the fans and take away scenes where the two plan their wedding, especially the part where they'll tell everyone over at 51. But there's a not-so-bright side to this scene, too. What if Brett agrees and they've to leave Chicago? That was the whole problem. She couldn't stand the long distance. So how will they deal with it now? Plus, Andy Darden's sons still have time before they go to college, so Casey most probably can't move back to Chicago. This brings up we might be saying bye to Mouch before anyone else. The Bretzi proposal wasn't the only bombshell that the Season 11 finale dropped. They left everyone's favorite guy on a hospital bed with a flatlining heart monitor. They know how to do cliffhangers because this was the worst possible one. Casey did play hero and catch that sniper, but not before he took a life-threatening shot at Mouch. Now here's the deal. He's one of those characters that we usually assume is safe, like Herman and Cruz. But when he does get involved in the main storyline, it's always life-threatening. Remember the Season 5 finale when he had a heart attack? Yeah, they do not mess around when it comes to dramatic moments. So, what are the chances of him making it to Season 12 alive? Well, even though the flatline convinced us that he's about to die, they probably have some last-minute save planned because they can't kill Mouch off like that. I won't stand for it, and neither will the fans. You should have seen Twitter the second they aired that episode. Tweet after tweet about how Mouch better not die. The people were not prepared, hoping and praying that Mouch can climb his way out of this. By the time the credits roll on episode 1 of the next season, he better be on the road to recovery. But I know that doesn't mean he'll stay on the show. He is 60 after all. And surviving a near-death experience like that for the second time will for sure have a huge effect on him. Let's not forget how close he was to retiring last time. He's even closer to the retiring age now, so it makes even more sense for him to finally take a rest. I'm pretty sure this time the crew themselves will push him to go. His health matters much more than him being a part of 51. Christian Stolte even posted a goodbye message on Instagram, and there haven't been any announcements since then, so it's looking sketchy. While we're at it, let's get into the juicy deets about why our main man, Lieutenant Kelly Severide, said goodbye after a fantastic run of 11 seasons. For background, Taylor Kinney's been with the show since its very first season, so this news was pretty sad for all the fans, and straight up heartbreaking for the OGs. In his last episode, just halfway through the season, Severide joined his wifey, Stella Kidd, at Molly's pub. She asked about Captain Tom, and he showed her something on his phone, which left her speechless. And guess what? They didn't show us what the two were looking at. Typical Fire. But it was heavy enough to surprise Stella. All she could muster up after that was a, "Wow, what are you going to do?" They must have heard the fans' cries, because they started the next episode by explaining it. By it, I mean just what the heck was going on with Severide. He left Chicago to train at some super cool arson investigation program, explained that it was a last-minute opportunity, but it was way too great to pass up. The chief was bummed out about it, but Van Meter reassured him and said that the training is for the best. He says Severide will bring some real value to the team when he returns. The explanation was great and all, but we did feel like it was weird for him to leave suddenly. And turns out that was the case. The reason he just up and left was because of the actor himself. He had to leave the show to deal with some personal matters. His last episode aired on February 22nd, 2023, and sources say he let production know just a month before. Talk about cutting it close. It must have been something urgent for him to have left just like that, so we all hope whatever it is worked out for him. Even though it was such short notice, the writers came up with a good enough idea to cover it, so they could write him out of the show. The future scripts were all adjusted according to Kinney's absence. Now, the leave did seem indefinite, since no one mentioned how long the program would be. But they teased that he would come back soon, and guess what? In the finale of the 11th season, Stella finally finds out that Kelly isn't at the training program anymore. So we now know that she's looking for him, but what we don't know is if she finds him, will she come back with Severide in tow, or will it be with a broken heart? There's no news on whether he'll return to the cast, and with the budget cuts, they won't be able to accommodate all these actors. They have to pick wisely. I hope he comes back for the wedding at least, if there is one. Or if he has to be written off for the next season too, they do him justice. And Severide deserves that much. And that's all, folks. From Taylor Kinney's sudden departure from the show to Bretzi's uncertain future, these Chicago Fire characters probably won't be back in season 12.